Hey, what's up everyone? Can AI fix my broken integrations? We'll find out. Last week we started working on, or last time we started working on redoing some of my website, refactoring what's available, and just trying to get up to best practices with Payload. So I did a lot of that work with Claude, and now there's a few things that aren't quite right with my CMS and with my front end. So we've adjusted some of it already. We're going to keep working on it today. And I'm hoping to bring in a few extra tools as well to help us move forward with it. So we'll be digging into the code. I know my new microphone setup is a little too close to me, but I do plan on showing off a little bit more of my website, which I know has been a highly requested thing. So hopeful to get it to a place that is going to be something that I can open source and have everybody look at. So excited to dive into this one. We're going to work with Claude Code, a couple other tools as I mentioned, and not only just get my website up to best practices and up to code, but also into a place that I feel comfortable sharing it with others. And we're going to do that using AI assistants. So I'm hoping to also show in a little bit more detail about my process and how I use Claude Code to partner code with me, to pair code with me. So looking forward to that as well. And I think with all of that out of the way, we can start looking at some code. So I've got on the computer over here, it has the terminal, which I called out last time that Claude Code is just so much better in the terminal. So I'm going to be using that instead of trying to use the built-in WebStorm terminal for Claude. So we're going to dive into that. And then this tool here, which I'll actually leave on this side, is called Super Whisper. So one thing that I have not done a whole lot of that I'm hopeful to get into here is to use this to stream of consciousness my way to a prompt. Excuse me. So I know a lot of people do like to talk to their AI assistant to get the results that they want. So I'm hopeful to try that out as well. Just making sure that I have everything I need to get a-going. Looks like it. So it looks like I'm missing a few stats here and there about what's going on. So hopefully I'm not missing any chat, but we will see. All right, so let's go ahead and get rolling. All right, so we've got Claude. Claude is good in my tutorial site repo here, so that's where we'll be hanging out. And now I'm going to try and use Super Whisper to do the work for me. So instead of me talking, I'm going to let Super Whisper do the stuff for me. So let's see how this does. I've never used this before, so I'm really hopeful that it just works. But we'll see here in just a second. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do, and I can tell it, review the claude.md file and use that to tell me what next steps I should do in order to fix my YouTube integrations. Oh, that didn't work. All right, so beautiful thing about trying to figure out how to use tools. They don't always work the first time. Review the claude.md file and tell me how to fix my YouTube integrations. Close enough. I need to figure out how to get this into my terminal. So let me fix this. And let's go to plan mode just in case. All right, so it's saying that it already had the ClaudeMD file contents, so it doesn't even really need to do that, but it's going to look at the YouTube integration that I have on my site. There's a couple. So the first is, I can show these. Here I have this media kit link. And this allows me to, I need to actually do this from my live site. So if I go to nlvcodes.com and then scroll down to the media kit. I'm able to pull in my own statistics here to show for like anybody who might want to sponsor a video, they can see it. So all of this information comes from the YouTube API and is not something that I pull that I pull manually. So all of that is in there. Then if I sign in, it's one of these. NLV, okay. Dang it, I already forgot we just reset the password last week and I already forgot it. All right, so let me pull up my passwords. You guys don't need to see this part. I believe it's going to be this. Dang. So let's do local. Well, first, is this right? Okay. Let's try this. Jeez. Last thing. We'll try this. Okay, I'm in. Jeez, all right. Not now. So the other integration, so that media kit is its own thing. But I have YouTube stats that is integrated, but then also for my tutorials, I can sync to YouTube. So that's something that I would like to fix because currently that does not seem to be working. And the same is true for my thumbnail sync here as well. So if I sync YouTube videos, I have IP address restrictions. And that seems to be a problem. All right, so I need to fix that as well. So, a couple of things to work on here, but let's see what Claude is trying to say. So what specific integration problems are you experiencing? So, tutorial sync is broken. I would also like general cleanup, so it's asking me to select multiple. I'm not getting OAuth errors and the stats are updating, so I think we're good there. Then we can do next. Has both a service account client and an OAuth client. The production jobs use OAuth 2. I need to know, can I not? I would like to try and use Super Whisper here. So, configuration, advanced settings. So this, modes maybe? Here I can find out how to use Super Whisper in Terminal. So dictation. So we've got recording there, modes, default, okay. All right, so let's go back to Super Whisper. And then if we go to our settings, so So it gets what it needs there. I can't change the settings here. Turn your voice to text, customize shortcut, create a mode. So that's unhelpful. Use super cursor. Okay, I would like to use super cursor with Claude Code. That's literally what I'm trying to do. But in the meantime, let's see. Does the service account get used at all? Oh, okay. Is this app currently deployed? Yes. Submit answers. Okay, yes. I guess docs, is that what I'm looking for? Introduction, available on, diction, key features, initial setup. So this is unhelpful for me. Let's see. All right. So it's not so seamless for me, it seems. Yes, yes. This is get file, so I always allow for any kind of read function. I don't do update or delete. All right, and we're back over here. So let's try creating a mode. Voice to text, yes. Message, note, meeting, custom. So let's do voice to text. Okay, unhelpful. So start recording. So maybe I need to do, let's check. So if I do terminal, let's create a new terminal. And then this is a check. Okay, so that is how that works. Got it. Perfect. So what you got for me, Claude? There are two separate YouTube sync implementations, a server action used by the admin UI, and an API route. The API route has broken auth and differs from the server action in several ways. I'm honestly not sure, so I'm going to say I'm not sure. When a video doesn't match any category keywords, what should happen? Yeah, create as a draft. Do you want plausible tracking? No. Review your answers, submit answers. So now it's going to go in and try and figure out what is broken. But while it's doing that, let's go to tutorials. Let's go to our collections first and look at our tutorials. And look at our config here. So we have the tutorial sync. So we should actually, let's look at the different views that we have. So let's see. API, payload, blocks, collections is not where it's going to be. Components probably. Tutorials, YouTube embed, UI. There's an easier way to find this. So if I go to our payload config, and then I go up to our views. I've got in my admin YouTube sync view. So I can go up to my components, admin, tutorial sync, nope, YouTube sync view. And then that's going to bring me to YouTube sync client, which is actually what I'm looking for. So all of this is our sync. And this is why I have that IP restriction that was sent. It's because I can't do it. I wonder if that's the same error that I'm going to be seeing on the back end in the production environment. Perfect. All right, where is this actually calling things? Await sync YouTube videos. That's what I'm looking for. So it's got the API key and my channel ID. Don't need all of these console logs. Those are all troubleshooting things. All right, so if I go to my nlvcodes.com admin, so this is what's production right now, and then I go to my tutorial view, so YouTube sync, and sync YouTube videos. I have no new videos to sync. That's fine, I probably don't. But if I go to sync thumbnails, still nothing. We can look back and you're going to see early look at some things that are coming down. This one here is next. Okay, so then if I sync YouTube, and sync YouTube data, nothing changes, which is the problem. So that's one thing we need to fix. So we'll test that out. I may have to adjust my IP address for that, but that will be okay. Won't be too difficult to do. All right, Claude looks like it's done planning. Let's see what it's going to do here. So we've accumulated dead code, which I kind of expected, honestly. So we gotta get that removed. Tutorial sync from the admin panel has bugs. Videos are skipped when they don't match a category. That sucks. DST calculation is approximate and incorrect at boundaries. Good to know. Error logs lack context, and environment variables aren't documented. So this lines up with our refactor, which is great. So we will have it skip the pull request and anything else. So what it's going to do, though, is it's going to delete the code, so I'm cool with that. I don't need it to build, so I'm going to tell Claude to skip the build, but to start. Delete the dead code. Make category optional on tutorials. I thought that was already true, but all right. So fix tutorial sync server action. I need to fix the daylight savings time thing, or even just how we get dates. Like, there's no reason to call a utility function for that. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Document YouTube environment variables. So in the example, good. I didn't know I didn't have those. Build and PR. So we can skip all build steps and PR until I test in development. All right, so I'm just telling it that I don't want to do all of those extra steps until we have everything confirmed working in the development server. Otherwise, we're just going to be wasting our time spinning our wheels trying to build something that's just not going to build. So now we get to do the fun part. We should be able to run this in parallel. Wait. Are you able to do this in parallel? Let Super Whisper do the talking for me. Excuse me. Most steps touch different files and can run in parallel. Type generation, which is fine. So looks like that this will be able to work going in parallel, which is exactly what I wanted to do because Claude can do that now and makes my life easier. So I'm very much into whatever makes my life easier. All right, so now we're going to clear context and auto accept and let it do its thing. Oops. Cool. So now it's just going to go through and do the plan, which honestly I should have made it do a markdown file or something similar to keep it on track. If it ever gets off track, I can always point it back. But of course it has that plan, it has it in context, it has my refactor.md file in context as well, and it's not really going to try and get off the rails too much. But working in parallel as well is going to be great because it's going to do everything I need to do quickly. And while that's happening, so we're going to let that go, I kind of want to look here in my tutorials collection, which I know is getting worked on a little bit, and I need to adjust some things here. So I don't really care. Let's look. We have our title, our category, and published at, which works. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Do I have any other columns that I want? No, not really. So all these other columns I added as necessary, but I don't think I actually need them that much. So I'm cool with that. Then we have our before document controls. So if I click into any of these, I have my sync YouTube button, which is great. That works, or will hopefully work by the end of this. And then import markdown has this weird image, but that gets removed in the next version, which I just have not added yet. So that's how those buttons work. For some reason, on smaller screen sizes, this does scroll. I'm not too upset about it. That's also how the schedule publish shows up. So yes, it's probably a bug, but it's something that I can manage. I'm not too worried about it. I do have versions. That's great. For read, this is saying that only the user or only a user can see this, or but if there is no user, only the published version of this can be seen. All of these are technically the default, but I'm going to leave them there just in case. So then we have our tabs. We have content and SEO. And in here, I do need the title. I need the slug. I need the description, which I could set a max length, but probably should not honestly do that. Then we have our video URL, which is important, but actually with the description, I could probably remove required true from this. I don't really need a description. The description shows up here where there's just this little card description here, but that's all it does. We'll see if that can actually, oh, that's the podcast anyway. That's not what I want. We'll see if this actually loads up. When Claude is cooking, sometimes this happens because cache gets out of sync, but that's okay. So we'll come back to that here in a second. Then we have the hero, which I definitely do need. The URL has some logic behind it. GitHub URLs fetched from the description typically. Then the UI, so the YouTube ID is taken from the video URL, so it automatically gets it for me. Then we have our hero, which we don't need required false there. It will be, things are required false by default. So we've got our tags, document resource uploads, which I've not used a whole lot of yet, but still want it to be there. And then the body of the content. So all of this looks pretty good, exactly what I need. So I don't have any SEO fields, which is not necessarily a problem because of how I have my SEO stuff set up, but we should add those. So let's add to do add SEO fields. So we're going to come back to that. Then down here we have our category. We can set these to both be or not necessary because they are false by default. And let's restart our development server and take a look at what we're doing in real time. And while that's loading, Claude is here now. The refactor branch has many unrelated changes mixed in. Oh, we should do new branch from refactor. Well, hold on, what are you doing? All steps are complete and the build passes. Oh, so you built anyway, that's fine. So we should probably commit this and let the changes hit my live site. Since the build passes, it should go live right after. So let's Let's commit our YouTube changes on the refactor. So add a commit with just the YouTube files on this branch. PR will include all refactor changes. So I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and commit YouTube changes. And then while that's going, oh, right, we're going to go in and we're going to look at this. Description is no longer required. Category still just has the one selection, so it's still not multiple select. Then I've got this, like the duration's fine because I will be using that. And then total duration is calculated, that's fine. Published at is fine with the default value of today. Synced from Beehive. So this I don't need because I don't use it. So I use Beehive, but I don't sync the posts. Otherwise, there would be no point. So I'm going to get rid of that. Contains sponsored content and members only, so great. So one thing that I have been asked to do is go through and do a tutorial on melee search as well. So I do use that, and I will plan on adding that to the list. So we can delete, or we can save that. We'll see synced from Beehive, and anything else that we're not using anymore disappear. So we're good there. We will add all the files that we need. And then this is going to create a pull request for me. And we'll see what happens. The main thing I want to see is if my video sync is going to work. So I have a couple of videos in draft on YouTube, so hopefully we'll be able to see that as well. So we will push these changes. Which is going to have a ton of changes apparently. All right, so now we should have a pull request. Let me see if I can pull that up. I want to see before I show it on screen to make sure that all of this worked fine. All right, so we've got a new pull request. This is a private repo, which is why I took my time doing that. And here it's just going to summarize what it did. So I apparently have some checks here, which are unlikely to pass because I don't think I've ever gotten them to pass. So I will take a look at those as well. That's something that I can get Claude to do. And then we should be able to commit these to the code. So how do I disconnect Vercel? I don't even host this on Vercel. Okay, but I can merge the pull request, which I will, and then we'll see what happens. So merge, confirm merge, and then that's going to go in and build. Now again, I want to pull this over here because I'm going to log into my deployment real quick. If I remember where. Perfect. So I'll leave this up as a separate window, but now I can see here my deployments. This is going now, and I'm gonna have Claude look at this too. So let's figure that out. Make sure that this actually failed. And I feel like this is going to be a... I don't actually know what this is going to be. But this is a great way for Claude to be involved. So I'm going to start here from the warning. Let's go to plan mode. The build failed on doc deploy. So let's see what suggestions I get here from my best friend Claude. So it's gonna think, I'm gonna come back up and I'm going to minimize this until we have next steps. And I want to clean this up, so let's see if I can get rid of Vercel bot for me. I believe I'm gonna have to bring this over here again. Settings, actions perhaps. Models rules maybe. Let's actually go to my account, and I'm sorry I'm not showing this on my screen. I don't know what's in here that I can't show. But I know I don't need Super Whisper up anymore. Let Claude move forward. It should be under like attached, like applications or something, is my guess. Yeah, applications. There's a Vercel one. So let me get rid of that real quick. And so all I'm doing over here, I can show again, is I'm just uninstalling Vercel. I just don't use it. So I've not used it for probably a year now. And there are a couple of ones in here that I could probably adjust as well, like codecs I don't use, but that's a project for another time. I'm trying to get stuff working. So now we're in the troubleshooting phase of what's going on here. So we put out a pull request, we merged that pull request, the pull request failed. So we need to figure out why that build failed and how to fix it. So we are going to, I'm just pulling up the pull request here because we're not done working on that. So are you telling me what the issue is? Claude Code tries to resolve old path and the file is now at. Okay. So now Claude has figured out what the issue is, and he's going in to fix those issues in my payload config file. So if I come back to that, seems that the issues were, if I get rid of this, here in the collections. So some of the changes I made to what I did yesterday, or what I did last time, is showing up here. So it's got my globals, my collections, and then with that, it should be fine. So let's see what the plan is. Stage and commit. And then I just want it to go. So I'm gonna have him go, clear context, and make that work. I'm not sure if this is going to post another pull request. So in the meantime, let's go look back at our next collection. Podcasts would be a good one to look at. This is live, so let's not do that. If we go instead, which we're gonna have to restart, I think, the development server. I do indeed. So run pnpm dev to get us back in. Then refresh. And then while that's loading up, we're going to go to our collections. And then we go into our podcasts. And we'll see what's in here that we don't really need. Let's try that again. So here, a lot of the same. Okay, so I guess I have to look in here, or we can just create a new one. So versions are enabled. We can schedule. Access controls are all the same. These are the defaults. This only allows a user to see everything. The rest, the public users, can see just what's published. Then we have our content and SEO. So there's still no SEO here. We have another cache mismatch here. That should be expected with all of the work that Claude is doing. But we don't need to explicitly require the episode number, so I'm getting rid of that. It is optional because I don't really care, but then some other stuff is getting sorted with it, so we do need to include it. So honestly, that means this is actually required. So we'll do that. Must be unique. Description, this we can remove the requirement for the same reason we removed the tutorial requirement. Video URL is all the same. YouTube ID pulled from the video URL. I don't include the audio file because I don't get stats on those, so I'm going to remove this field. We're going to leave the hero, but we can remove the requirement. Guest info. I guess I should keep this just in case maybe one day I have a guest on my podcast, but I don't anticipate that. Then we have our external links. There's no Google Podcast URL, so we can clean that up. Then we have tags, which I don't even know if I really need tags, but I'll leave them. But when tags get added to the array, they are required to be filled out. Then we've got the show notes. And then beyond the show notes, we have the transcript, and all of that's good. We need to do add SEO fields. Then, yes, we need the category. We need the author, relationship to users, which then if I go to my users, I want to change this to be from use as name email to use as name name. So that way when I pull up my list of authors, I see the name, not the email. We can remove all false. I have the YouTube URL included as a separate field, so that's what embeds the video on my website. But yeah, so I include that separately. And then there's no Google Podcasts anymore. There used to be, which is what I think Claude put in at first. All right, so I have author, that's good. Estimated listen time based on audio duration, which it gets from something else somehow. So I need to figure that out. Then we've got our hooks, which is duplicated from the tutorials. That's fine. Duration hours, minutes, seconds, duration before change, published at, all of this is the same. Add and remove from Melee search, which is again coming soon. So let's see what that did and check on Claude here, which is build failed with a stale cache issue. So it's trying to build again. That's why I keep getting my dev server disconnected. That's fine. You got to let Claude cook still. So a little bit of what we're doing is also cleaning up the files for things that I actually use. Like I do need to get rid of this icon next to import SRT. And I actually don't even use that anymore. So why don't we just get rid of that button entirely? So I still want to see if I can get YouTube to sync correctly. So that will stay, but I can get rid of this. And if I save, that should disappear. There it goes. Then Claude's done cooking. So yes. Did it nuke my node modules too? Seems like it. All right, so let's let Claude finish this build and initiate another pull request. Every time I see PR, I think of press release. That's the marketer in me a little bit. So it's so hard for me to like change what I'm trying to say in the moment from press release to pull request. So we are going to wait for Claude to finish here. So he's testing a build again, and then I'm going to reinstall all of our packages. And then from there, I'm going to reinitialize the build, which then we can double check here with docploy if it works. But first we need to wait for Claude to finish here. But he's been going for about 7 minutes. So in that case, let him keep cooking. Then I have this short links collection that I made, which all it does is if I go to my front end, I have this to route that allows me to create my own short link essentially, so I can point people to nlvcodes.com to blank. So I kind of want to try it. I might test it out with some of the links that I include in my YouTube descriptions, like my Patreon link or anything like that, my newsletter link, things that are a little bit longer. So the problem though is that I'm not sure how YouTube is going to treat those links, and I don't want to get banned from YouTube. I enjoy doing this, so I just have to be careful with what I put in my descriptions. But you know, if I do one, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. We'll see. All right, so the push is done. Does that mean it created another PR? So let me check here. We already handled that. The commit has been pushed to origin refactor. Oh, we need to... Oh, I messed some stuff up. Okay, so Claude was just trying to do stuff. All right, so let me do pnpm generate types and generate import map. And then say, no, I changed stuff on you. Can you try rebuilding if it failed? And then create a pull request and merge. So far I really like Super Whisper. That was really easy to do. But right now all we're doing is simple commands. I want to start like talking out a spec. So we'll figure that out here in a second. Like, what in the refactor plan do we have that we could type into a spec? So refactor. Oh, I think that this is next steps. Here we go. So I don't really want to, I guess we can try talking out the React email thing. So if I do pnpm dev email. All right. Things haven't been reinstalled yet. So let's do pnpm I. And then I need email dev. I did that backwards. All right, is this creating a new PR or is he just going for it? He's building first, so we'll let that happen. So all of that should be installed now, and we can do pnpm email dev and see what happens. So if I come here, you guys are getting all of my windows right now. So we can do local host 3001. Then I can look at my magic link email and we get an error. Let's see what happens if I refresh again. All right, could not resolve. Let's see if this is something that I can fix though. I mean, this is really, I want Claude to do all of this, which is what we're doing. So could not resolve React JSX dev runtime. So we have preview server installed, I believe. So that should be okay. But I don't actually React email components. So perhaps if I go to React email, I think I need to get the server up and going, because I don't think that's included in the base package. So if I do docs, and we want to do manual setup, I believe. yeah, let's do pnpm add React email preview server, because I saw it in the development, like the dev dependencies, but I don't see it up here. And I wonder if I'm supposed to. So we have React email there as well. Let's try it its way. First, automatic setup. All right, so we can try this, because it's probably not going to undo anything that I don't need. So here we can go to our emails, which are still fine. Claude 40 has been merged into main. So now we're going to jump and we're going to see that we are still seeing an error. And it looks like it can't find package collections imported from app payload config. So let's go to the payload config file and see what's going on here. All right, trying to do a couple things here at once. So now that that's done, let's do our email dev server real quick. If I go to, here. So the server itself is working. So I wonder what's not cooperating. I have a feeling it's how this is done. All right, so we'll come back and troubleshoot that in just a second. The main thing we need to troubleshoot is getting our build working again. So let's go to the payload config. And I wonder if the alias isn't working here. So let's see. I want to bring up the warning again. Here. That didn't work. Is there a problem with the root file aliasing? It says that cannot find package @/collections imported from app payload config.ts. I will copy the error below. I didn't need to tell it that I was going to copy the error below. I think it knows that. But let's go ahead and do this. I know I don't need to do all of that error, but I'm going to do it anyway. Go back into plan mode and figure that out. And then here I really could do another Claude session, but let's focus. Let's do one session at a time. Where TSX runs payloads type generation. Let me investigate. Because am I even building from Docker? So if I am, GitHub. tutorial site. No, it's Nix packs, so interesting. Let Claude try to figure this one out before we moving on to emails. It says it understands the issue. I wish it would tell me. I guess I could Control O and it could tell me. I mean, that's interesting. Okay. So it's saying that the alias doesn't seem to be working for whatever reason, though it was working before, but we can let this try to work. If it tries to do a Docker build, I don't think I have, like I have a Docker file, but I don't have a build set up for this that works. So we'll see what happens. The build's gonna pass, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, photosynthesizing. Could not resolve. Here I'm gonna look. JSX dev runtime. Could not resolve React JSX dev runtime. Let's do this one the old-fashioned way. Let's see. React email. But I'm not using a mono repo, so that shouldn't be it. Oh, is this really the same issue? So if I go to magic link, well, that wouldn't be it. And then I can go to layout.tsx. No, so it's definitely a different issue. So this is, oh, it's Webpack. But do I have an email config that I can look at? It doesn't look like it. JS config. Don't see React email config anywhere. All right, what's Claude got for me? Yes, let's try that again. All right, so we're gonna let that try and go. My email server isn't working properly. Here's the error. And so if I'm reading this right, I've used no minutes of pro usage, which means I'm not, oh, I didn't paste it. Ah, shoot. This is why I want to talk. There we go. So it's going to work that through now. But yeah, so there's pro here, but I don't know exactly what pro gets me if all I'm going to use it for is my talk in here. So now he's going to look through all of that, and then I'm going to take a look here and see if I can figure out this issue. App collections. They generate types. Cannot find module. What did you do? So, while it's working on the email situation, I'm going to work on the payload config issue, if I can find my payload config again. So all of that should be right, and if I run pnpm dev, it should load up. And that's going to work fine. What are you trying to do, actually? So there's a few things that I'm trying to do all at once here. So first and foremost, I'm trying to get my project to build again. So I'm just getting some build errors for some reason on docploy, even though it builds locally and everything looks fine. So I'm trying to look at that, and then on the other side here with Claude, I'm trying to get it to work with my email server on the local side to make sure that that actually works as well. Because if I go to my React email, which actually is going to be down anyway, let's do pnpm email. If I go to the preview, it says application error, but the server is showing. So there's something going on with the file here. So doing two things at once right now. And now I'm just reviewing the payload config file myself to see what might be going on. Because if I look at the error here, I see cannot find module app collection auth users config. So that tells me auth. All right, so app collections auth users config. I mean, it's there. URL file, which I don't see this anywhere, or app collections auth config.ts. I shouldn't have to do config.ts here, but let's wait and find out. The build succeeds, but this error happens when I try to open the email template file in the preview server. All right. So while he's working on that, let's do pnpm build myself. And we'll see what happens. I imagine it's going to be a similar situation where, of course, it's going to still fail, or the build is going to succeed, because otherwise I don't think it would try to post anything that did not succeed there. But we'll see. AI never ceases to surprise me. So, what are you going to do? Okay, so I wonder if that's the issue that I'm facing. All right, so yes, go ahead and do that. So that worked. Build ran with compile mode. So then if I do pnpm start, it'll do my static generation, which fails. Okay. All right, so we have a couple things for Claude to clean up here. All All right, so 3001 is still running, but we should restart. This is why you branch everything and do pull requests. So the old deployment's still working, so I'm not too worried about my website going down, so that's all good stuff. And I can see, oh, I need to add a link here. So podcasts. And we still haven't even gone to check what my YouTube integration is going to be doing here. So to do, add link component under slug. So we'll do that momentarily. Let Claude do its thing. And then while that's spinning up, it is building with Nix packs, so I'm not worried about that. If only it were that easy to just say, make no mistakes. Because AI, gonna make mistakes. This is taking a long time to do this, which makes me nervous. So let me just end that session there. All right, let's see what's going on here. So that's not what I wanted. If we look at our terminal, let's just cancel that. Let's clear context, because what's actually important is working on getting my site, the changes that we just made on our site. So let's fix that real quick. So plan mode. The build failed again on docploy, and when I run pnpm start, the static site generation fails. Here are the error messages. First for the docploy build, second for pnpm start locally. Well, hopefully you can translate what that spelling of docploy is. Let's go ahead and go through here. So docploy, and then I'm going to include the metadata base, even though I think I can fix that on my own. Then change this. There we go. So we'll let Claude plan this change out. I should have added make no mistakes. I do really enjoy this working in parallel. So having to explore agents going through each of these different errors and figuring them out is extremely helpful. Let's try and run the email dev again. Instead of switching windows, let's just go here. Magic link. Still nothing. I really do have a feeling that it has to do with the components here. So if I can get rid of layout, and then instead of layout, we can do, what is it? HTML. Yeah. So let's give that a shot. Yeah, it doesn't have a preview thing. Okay. So if I do magic link email dot, I think that's how it goes. Very interesting, very, very interesting. So here, what I'm going to do, look at my email template video. So I did do a video on how to do emails. So I should really know how to do this. It's preview props. So let's start with that. Okay, we're going to restart. Okay. Export default function. All that looks good. Here, we'll pull up both side by side real quick. Not what I wanted. Right half. All right, so we have React. We have button, heading, horizontal role, HTML, link, preview, section, text, and all that from React email components. That should be all I need there. Don't think I need these here, but I do need email and URL, which means I don't really need this. I should leave it. Then after that, magic link email preview props equals those things. Then we come down here. Oh, as magic link email props. HTML, I guess, do I need to add head? All of that should be roughly about the same thing. The CSS doesn't matter. Very interesting. So I will have to look into that and see, because this does all work until I do something. All right. So let's go back to the terminal, see what Claude has done. Oh, Lord. Yes, deployed on docdeploy. No. Submit answers. So it kind of lost context here, which is going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens. All right, so I need to change something already. So before I just move too fast here, it says build fails, Docker build fails because of the 3 new collection directories. I'm building like it is on docdeploy. Docdeploy is, yes, Docker, but it's using Nix packs, and I want to make sure that it knows that. I'm building using Nix packs. I also don't like its solution here to do force dynamic. I think it's going to have some issues here though. All right, so back to the email. Just trying to do everything ourselves here. Let's look at that script real quick. So package.json. We've got our script, email dev. I don't need to do this. So I think that might be what the issue. Well, I don't know that yet. So because that should be the default. Email dev should be all we need. Email build should be all we need. Okay, still nothing. Great. All right, so back to Claude. Files to add, okay. All right, go ahead, give it a shot. This is not how I wanted to spend most of this video, but that's okay. We're making it work. All right, so we still don't have our emails going. So emails, let's go ahead and add our layout back in. Then we can change our HTML to be layout, which means we don't use HTML here, but we should in our layout. HTML head, children. There's no preview either, so I wonder. Layout. I'm going to remove preview from the props because that should not be necessary. Oops. Cool. Still nothing. Great. Okay. So confusing. Like, this is exactly set up how my other project is set up. So we'll double check that though. So we go and we look at our package.json. We have email dev. I don't even have email build, so maybe I get rid of that because that doesn't even really matter anyway. So there. Email build. Let's get rid of you. And we're going to get rid of this port situation as well, just in case. So now we can do email dev. It's going to open up at 3000 instead of 3001. Then if I go here to 3000 instead, still good. Magic link, still nothing. So then let's look here. We have React email. So here we still don't have the preview server. Let's add that in. Even though I did install this. And I'm going to add that 3001 back in. PNPMI. Then email dev. Let's see what Claude's doing. No, because I want to test this. The build's going to work. I know that. So let's go ahead and do pnpm build and then pnpm start. And then while that's running, I will do to run. Yes. Jeez. All right, so the problem is that email server's dev dependency. Okay. Let's get you up. So what do we have up here? We have 5.1. So let's do that. Do the same thing here. And then React components 1.0.7. Run pnpm install. Even though other parts of the project is doing something completely different. Then run email dev. I love getting different errors. So I was still getting errors, but at least they were different. All right, so the build is still going. If we go here to Safari, we should be able to open up 3000, not 2, 3001. Good. Still nothing. Different error though. All right, the updated requested resource isn't a valid image for that. So if I go to layout, is there an image in here for any reason? No. No. There's no image here either. So the comment I'm looking at now, how do you have different terminals for each agent in the team? So I'm only using the single terminal here for Claude. So Claude's out on his own doing his own external thing over here in the terminal, but the terminal is pointed to my tutorial site. These down here are just different local terminals. So I have one that's localhost 3001 where I'm troubleshooting the email. Then over here is my now working pnpm start. This is my localhost 3000 that I'm working on. So that looks good. Make sure I can load up admin. Let's give it another shot. Go ahead and push to main. The requested resource isn't a valid image for this. My guess then is, so first of all, I should get rid of this. I have to be very careful what I type in here though, so please hold. Better auth get request. So this console log was used for troubleshooting. I don't need that anymore. And I definitely don't want that to be posted all the time. All right, so now we're back here. That's 26 minutes ago. Okay. What are you doing, Claude? All right, let Claude figure this out. Back to email. The requested resource isn't, oh, so I'm going to delete the next cache real quick. And yes, there are code ways to do that, but too much work. Man. Now I'm not getting any error. See the server logs. That's disappointing. Magic link. Are there any browser logs, maybe? Nope. An error occurred in the server components render. The specific message is omitted in... Okay, that's what it normally tells me. All right, so did you push yet? You didn't. Claude, push it. Here we go. Yes. Now we're going to hope that that works. And the main thing that I need to check as soon as this builds, like if it succeeds, I need to make sure that my magic link still works. It doesn't succeed anyway, so what does it matter? So all of this passed internally though, so I was able to build no problem there. So there's something wonky going on for sure. Let's take a break with that and come over to my email. We should probably keep going though, honestly. The deployment still isn't working. Here's the error. Let's take all of this here. But I could do another Claude instance. I have no idea what this thing did. All right, so here though. So we have a rendering issue. Now I wonder if this needs to be HTML. Jeez. Well, okay, so here's what we should do. I'm surprised I haven't done this yet because I'm so myopic and focused. If I go to my emails and I create a new file, I'll just call this a test.tsx. I just want to import HTML from none of those. From React email components, import React from React. Then I'm going to export a default function called test, and we're just going to return test. Now that should show up here, and we're not getting anything. So there's a problem with the preview server still. So that is interesting. Let's take a look back over here where I don't even have, so on the right is a working project. And I know that because I posted it. That means, so there's these dev dependencies here. I should be able to get rid of that because I don't see it here at all. None of those matter. Then if I come here and do our tsconfig, which I feel like is just getting jacked up the more we do stuff. Bundler, true, preserve, true, plugins. Base URL is at the top there. Paths. So I think we're okay. Yeah, so all of that looks fine, but if I come over here, we have next config. Is this Webpack issues? I doubt it. Let's do next config. Don't know why that's there. All right, well, let's see what Claude's getting here. I just feel like the alias stuff got mixed up, so we'll see what happens here when it builds. But this is a confusing issue to me. And then I'm just not getting any errors at all. Let's look here. No. All right. We have our emails folder. And honestly, I know components is not doing much for me, so let's go ahead and delete that. Go to magic link. Layout should already be removed, so let's get rid of that. Test doesn't even have it, so if we save, go there, still nothing. Okay. Well, we've made it. We made it to the build. I don't know if that's further or it says about a minute ago. Usually it ends at 32 seconds. So we'll see what happens here in just a second. So now we need to fix our email section. I deleted the components folder because layout didn't seem to be working, but now the test.tsx file and the magic link.tsx file don't work and provide no errors other than an application error on the front end. In the server, all it says is rendering email template and then the name of the email template, but in the server or browser console, localhost 3001/preview/test, I don't see anything other than the application error. So I don't know what's going on. So that was the stream of consciousness stuff that I wanted to try out with Super Whisper. And that's really, honestly, this is not going how I wanted it to go, But at the end of the day, I'm still able to test out these new tools and see how I'm able to use them. So we've got the email set up here, and it's going through that. We have our build still going, which honestly it might reset, which I'm not too upset about, as long as if I go over to my nlvcodes.com and it doesn't start breaking. So far, not great. So that seems to mean that my docdeploy instance is overloaded a bit, but I don't anticipate that it will be for very long. This is why I would recommend always having multiple docdeploy instances. So this build is going to likely fail and then it'll restart, but right now I just am locked out of docdeploy. Some other projects that I have are on their own instance, so it is what it is at this point. I just haven't moved this to its own server because I am lazy. All right, what are you doing? Yes. Okay, so still broken it seems. But hopefully should be unbroken shortly. What is syncing here? Okay, so it's looking for something to latch onto, and I'm also looking for shreds of hope as well, because I still don't have access to docdeploy. Yes, delete that. No, I don't need plausible. Yes, submit. All right, so I was expecting that. Now we're just going to hope that it goes out quickly. If it's really just that it was missing body, and it really is just missing body. But it was doing that for components too, so I don't really think that that was the only reason. All right, I'm gonna let Claude cook here for a minute. And then while he's cooking, let's see if we are back in docdeploy. We are not. Okay. I have a feeling that I'm going to have to do something in a different window. So I might have to restart my server completely. So I'm going to do that real quick. Details. At least I think I'm going to. Yes, proceed. But I should also be able to see. All right. You working yet? Okay, it's back up and running. So as I said, the container was going to restart. It just was a matter of time. But that should also mean that this is up and running, and I really should have it on a different deployment for that very reason. Claude seems very confident that this is going to work. So let me test it first. Nope. Nope. So it definitely was not the body in the container. No. Actually, yes. You can test it, but I just went in and saw that the test and magic link files are still not working properly. Okay, let that do its thing again. Ideally, what I want to do, I don't even want to necessarily get the email server working properly. I will if I can, but I'm running a little short on time here. So the main goal that I want is to be able to check and not go there, but make sure that this loads up, and then like while I'm live here, ensure that my magic link is still working, because that is a key component of what I'm trying to do. Yes, go ahead. All right. Oh, Lord. So in for 3 minutes, and then it failed. So I don't know why this is all of a sudden an issue. These @ aliases. So this was not an issue before. Is the like that's the part that I'm confused about. But at the end of the day, we can easily fix that, I believe. So I'm going to move this over. The find in files is very dangerous, honestly. So, because it can easily leak secrets. But here we're gonna go and do that. I can see some errors that I need to fix too. But we will do one thing at a time, unfortunately. I don't necessarily want to replace all, just in case. Come on. That's right. So I'm gonna have to all right. Oh boy. Come on. Start the email server. Sometimes the code just doesn't do what you want it to do. So we're still not getting anything at test or at the magic link. Let's go ahead and end that process. Yes. Now it's looking into the source code, which is fun. But geez, this is taking its sweet time. Okay, we'll do that too then. That was a weird message I just got. Okay. What is Claude doing right now? All right, so we need to stop with the email. I need it to look more specifically. Exit, quit. All right, stop. I'm still having issues with the build of the project. I think the issue is with how things are being aliased, because no matter what I do when I build, anything with an @ sign is showing as module not found. How can we fix the @ sign aliasing in my project? I don't want to do that. I got a weird message from NordPass, which I don't use anymore, so I want to figure out why. So I guess I'll figure that out here in a minute. Is it really trying to make me download an app? I don't want to do that. Okay, what are you telling me? All right, this is probably going to be the least satisfying end to a stream, but I've got a couple more minutes and then I'm going to just call it quits and then revisit this next time, because my site is going to be working no matter what. I just don't have the emails that I set out to get set up right, and I don't have a deployment set up that I wanted to do, which is not great, but you know, sometimes it be like that. Oh, okay. All right, proceed. Let's see if this works. Keep going. Exclude. All right, so we're going to try this, and if it doesn't work, then we're done. If it does work, we're done. Clear context. Yes. All right, this was... Oh boy. All right. So this is going to do its thing, but I think I need to wrap this up. So what I'm going to do is what I normally do is I will do just like a general like off board, but I'll stick around for a couple of minutes to chat if you guys have anything that you want to chat about. So thanks everyone for watching. So what we did today is we hit some roadblocks, but we did move forward with our project of cleaning up my nlvcodes.com website. We are working still on fixing our integrations, we're fixing our email previews, and we are continuing to work on getting a working build going again. So we will troubleshoot all of that in the next video as well. So I look forward to seeing you in the next one. If you would like, you can support me by subscribing to my channel, liking this video, becoming a member on Patreon or YouTube, or subscribing to my newsletter, Next in Dev, where I talk about all the things that are happening in the web dev industry. So all of those links are in the description of this video. And that's it for this one. So not exactly how I like to end videos, but hey, it's a day in the life. Y'all understand how it goes. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so yes, this sucks. So if I'm honest, I have no idea what happened, and I can't even blame Claude for this one. So normally I would try to, but it seems like something has gone a little wonky in how my code is being interpreted. So I don't really know what to do about that really. So thank you. I appreciate that, Beard Love. So it's been trimmed up a little bit. So I alternate between like long and short. So yeah, so I wasn't the code thing, whenever stuff like this happens, it drives me a little bit crazy, because like I know what to, like I don't even know what to fix, but I know that something's wrong and that it wasn't wrong before. So it is what it is. It's going to happen. The key thing is to keep working at it, but I'm just out of time. I need to, live my life. So we'll see if some of the changes that we made as we're deploying fix what we have experienced, but hey, worst case, if not, I've got more content to work on. So we'll see. It actually just pushed again to deploy, I think. I wonder if it did a pull request. It did. Create, PR, and merge. Ooh, that was a big sneeze. Man. All right. So I think that's it. I think that's all I've got. I have a bunch of emails to delete from the GitHub workflows, but really other than that, I'm all done here. So I'm sticking around in the chat for a few minutes as I do my post-stream tasks. So I will be around to talk about those things. And I will be doing, this may not have been the sexiest stream in that like the code didn't end up working, all the things that I tried to do. But yeah, there's not the best way to end this, but regardless, it's all part of the process. It's never going to be perfect. So I'm holding out hope that it's going to get up and running. So it's merging stuff now, and I'm just gonna stay. Why not? I'm gonna stay on camera while I do my post-stream tasks, which is really just getting the recordings in the proper format that I need, which is not difficult, and then from there moving them to where they need to go. Ooh, I started this one a second later. All right, so Claude pushed another broken change, and this one appears. This actually may be something that I need to fix on my own. Like, I have no idea what's happening. This one looks like a Webpack issue. So let me still failing. It's a different error, but it's still failing. So I'm gonna paste that over to Claude. Got my recordings fixed. Let's move them now to coding. I don't even know what to title this message anymore, or video, whatever I'm trying to say. But 22:02:11. More, I guess, more Claude Code, I guess makes sense, sure. And then I can move all of those, which you guys can't see me do any of this, which is fine because it's just boring administrative stuff. So move that over to Google Drive and let it go. Cool. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna see what's going on with Claude on my own, but hopefully you found this process helpful, even if it is deeply, deeply dissatisfying. But that's all I have, y'all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.